Want to get to know your fellow VeeFriend holders before VCon? Well, through the VeeFriends family, you'll meet other VeeFriends holders, learn why they bought into the project, and their hopes for the future of this community. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and follow VeeFriends Fam on Twitter to get notified when new episodes air. I'm your host, William Glass, holder of an organized ostrich core. And without further ado, on to the show. Adam, welcome to the VeeFriends fam. Excited to have you on today.
Hella excited to be here too. Been, another long day, but those are the good days.
Exactly. Yeah, where Adam, where are you tuning in from?
I'm tuning in from Taunton, Massachusetts. It's like 45 minutes south of Boston, because nobody
Okay.
really knows what Massachusetts is. I feel like they know what Boston is, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the extent of Massachusetts knowledge for most people. Nice. I'm based in New York. I'm based in Queens, so not too far away from you.
Yeah, dude, New York City is a wild place. I don't know. You guys that live there are a different breed of people because I go there and I'm like, I get so much anxiety.
Yeah, it's definitely it can bring that out if you're not used to it. I mean, I'm not from New York originally, and it took me a while to adjust. I visited for many years before I finally made the jump. But yeah, it brings that out, that anxiety, just all the people and the buildings, and you can't. Yeah, it's just an interesting place. So
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Alabama originally.
Oh, okay.
So
So no accent either way. You kind of went the same way I did because unless I'm drinking a little bit, my accent is very neutral. So like,
yep.
it's just like I traveled to Wyoming and Arizona and Colorado and Oklahoma and like all these places where like if a little bit of my accent showed, they were just like, oh, you from Boston? Like I just got so sick of it. So I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to. I didn't even realize I had an accent. Like it was like, oh, I guess if I want to be a better speaker to like speak to more people generally, I probably shouldn't have like an accent like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, it kind of brings a little character, but yeah, I've same thing. Like when I went to college in Florida, and it kind of like my accent started to fade away there. But same thing, have a couple beers and you'll start to hear a little twang.
Yeah, it's funny because if I get some drinks in me, I feel like a couple words come out like almost southern drawl too from like being in those areas for a little bit. And a lot of my friends, like I had probably more friends online growing up than I did in real life. So like the metaverse isn't that weird for me. um, I had friends that all had different dialects and everything, and I always just thought they had an accent. I didn't have an accent.
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah. You don't notice your own. It's hard to notice it until someone points it out, and you're like, oh, I guess I do have a little bit of a. I do say that funny, but
Especially when like I'm not nowhere near as bad. Like even at my worst, like I mean not really like worst and like it's a bad thing, but like even when my accent was as accenty as it could be, it was nowhere near some of my family members and stuff. I'm just like, all right. Like my older brother kind of inspired that because he talks very proper. He's an author and everything. Like he's very intelligent. So like we were best friends growing up, and as much as I was into hip hop and everything, I always spoke proper and well, for the most part, and
yeah, you picked
yeah,
that a little bit up from him.
yeah,
Nice. So you got a self-aware hair a go too. Like talk to me about like there it is. The tattoo. Nice.
yes, sir.
What made
It's,
you what made you get the self-aware hair? Like what was that process like?
I mean, the self-aware hair chose me. Like it was the big giveaway that Gary did with. I think he gave away 15 goes that night, and I got one of them. And I remember for that was May 25th. He launched in the beginning of the month. So for the first like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even like 4 weeks, like it was because it was a little bit before it launched. I realized that I made a major mistake. I did not buy Ethereum last October when it was $300 a piece. It was $289. I know the exact number because it will haunt me for the rest of my life, but in a good way, just to pay attention. But I didn't buy Ethereum, so when it hit and I saw what the floor of VeeFriends was going to be, I knew immediately I wasn't going to get one. I would have had to liquidate everything, every single one of my crypto assets, all of my uh wow, stocks. I haven't traded stocks in so long. I forgot what they were called. Um, which in retrospect, it would have been a good investment. Like I really should have just done it. Um, and I would have had another VeeFriend. But no, I realized I wasn't going to get a VeeFriend because of my mistake with Ethereum, realistically. And I just wanted to help people. I was like, the best way to ask for help, Gary always says, is to just jab and don't expect help back. Just keep giving and keep giving and keep giving. And so I was like giving out, I had a shit ton of Clubhouse invites because I was on there, but I just never used it. They kept sending me more and more and more. And I had like 15, and I gave them all away in like a night. And then they sent me more a couple days later. I gave all those away. And then there was a time when Clubhouse wasn't on Android, and people in the Discord couldn't see it that were on Android. So I live streamed the Clubhouse on my phone into like my regular show for, I think there was only like 10, 15 people that really came to it, but they were some of those people are like, they bought rare tokens in my project because they met me, they were like, thank you, and I was like, yeah, no problem. So I just kept helping, 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 helping. And every time somebody would win or somebody would do something, I'm just hyping everybody up. I was so pumped. And I saw one of the V friends because I didn't look through the full collection once I realized I couldn't get one. I didn't even look at I saw like, the popular ones that are out, but I didn't really, see all of them. And it comes to that night, and I forget which one it was that somebody won, but I was like, oh man, if I had that one, I'd probably get it tatted on me. And it was like 20 minutes later, all of a sudden my Discord crashes, my Instagram crashes, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I finally see my phone stops crashing, and it's just like going crazy. What did I say? Right, what did I like just going and I'm like, what just happened? I finally get into the announcements, and it will barely load because everybody's just reacting and it's going nuts. And I like finally see like at what did Adam say, let's see that tat now. And I was like, I was sitting here. It was like 11:30 at night. My girl and my baby were asleep in the other like 15 feet over in the next room, and I'm sitting here literally going like this. Oh my god! Oh my! Oh my! Oh my god! Just freaking out because I knew what it meant. Like I mean, I still didn't really fully know the extent of what it meant because this community has been so crazy, but it's like I knew what it meant, and it like just changed everything. Like it was just, I wish I could have freaked out even more. And then I like, I think maybe my girl wasn't asleep yet. No, she was. And the next morning I tell her, and she's like, "A what?" I'm like, like you
Yeah, like
don't
what?
understand, babe. Like this is it. We did it. Like, and then yeah. So the self-aware hair chose me. Like, and it's very fitting because I feel like I'm kind of self-aware to like a fault almost. Like
Okay.
sometimes I'm not the greatest at like apologizing. Like I'll sometimes I just like forget the apologizing part and just keep treating people nice again. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Fuck, my stoner brain just lost track of where I was going.
You're all good, man. Yeah. So like, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, right? Like you have some sort of conflict or something, and like you have moved on or like on in your head, but haven't necessarily vocalized that to the other person, right?
Yeah. So I forgot where I was going with that point though.
But
This
you're
is
saying
still
you
so,
are the self-aware hair, right? Like you said to a
oh yeah,
fault.
so I'm
Like,
self-aware to a, so while I didn't say sorry, I'm in my head like, why are you such a fucking piece of shit? Like, why would you say that, Adam? Why did those words come out of your mouth? What are you thinking? Why did we say, like, constantly just like breaking down everything I say, and then what other people say, how it affects me, like how I can react differently to how it affects me. Like my head is a wild place. If I could make that like live stream for 24 hours, people would probably lock me away.
no, that's awesome.
Like
I
I
love
just
that. And
shut my brain just shut down. I'm just like, and then you're like, you said one word. I'm like, oh yeah.
and there it is. That's all it was. Just a nice little reminder that happens to all of us. So I love that though. I mean, that's awesome. Like it shows the power of like giving back and helping other people and hyping other people up. And
Mhm.
so were you? So I also didn't buy Ethereum when it was $239 and kicking myself and all that stuff. And Like luckily I was in a position to pick one up off the floor, just a core and all that stuff. But like I didn't, I actually like, I missed all of this stuff because I like bought it and then I was like, cool, I'm going to VCon. And then I stopped paying attention for like 3 months.
Oh
Um,
man.
which I know a lot happened and like, I kind of like, man, I wish I would have been paying attention more. But it's just, yeah, it's crazy just how fast things have taken off with the project.
Yeah, it's I had to go back to working full time, so the past 3 months I haven't really been super active either. And it's like just in that time I feel like I've missed 3 years. It's like fuck, dude. Like every night I'm sitting here just trying to like cram and look at discords and figure out what's going on. And it's overwhelming sometimes, but I keep remembering to just like be patient with it, like everything will run its course and have its time, like my project, my NFT project is starting to be at a place where, like I just put money towards promotion to see what it does for my project. Like I want to see what happens when it's in front of more people's eyes. Like is it where it needs to be, or do I need to continue to make improvements to get it out to the masses, because the next drop is probably a 6 to 10,000 token drop.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So talk to me about that. I'm not familiar with your project at all.
Yeah, so my project's called Terra Pothecary, and it's all about just healing the earth through mostly hemp. So
Okay.
we sequester carbon with hemp and building healthy soil essentially. So if you a lot of the like modern day practices of farming, they're really bad for the earth, and especially for like our CO2 levels and everything. So with joining up hemp and building healthy soil with regenerative agriculture, which is like no we do no till, no pesticides. We do cover crops. We do animals in there, like within there, as like our need to get rid of the grass and stuff like that. You bring a cow through, and then you use hyper accumulators such as hemp, sunflowers, certain trees that sequester carbon from the atmosphere and take it in through the roots, put it into the soil, and it breaks down into like that dark, thick soil. And if you don't till, it's kept there forever.
Got
So
it. Okay.
hemp is 1 acre of hemp is even though it looks like smaller and grows in 6 months, sequesters more carbon than an acre of full grown trees.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like the when I go digging, because I have to like people ask me these questions like, "Oh, is it how much more is it than trees?" And I'm like, "Oh, it looks like, trees do 840 tons per acre and hemp does like 875." So it's not a lot more, but it's like in 6 months, every 6 months I'm just pew, 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 just blasting it through. And then you could turn the hemp into hempcrete,
Hmm.
hemp wood, and hemp insulation. So
So there's, yeah,
those
there's more productive that you can do, right? Because you like plant a huge forest and then you can't really like you don't want to go chop it down, right? Like that would defeat the purpose of the
or
sequestration, right?
or you do chop it down and it takes 60 years,
Mm.
like, and it takes 60 years to regrow, so that environment is screwed up for 40 years at least. Like everything is off about it. So not only does it regrow quicker, takes less land, hemp actually has 4 times more pulp per pound than wood does. So you in theory would only need 25% of the acre that you would need for trees to grow have the same amount of pulp with hemp. So
Wow,
not
interesting.
only that, but those products, the hempcrete, the hemp wood, and the hemp insulation continue to sequester carbon afterwards. Like concrete, people don't know this about concrete. Concrete is one of the largest CO2 emitting industries in the world. They say if you were to put the amount that of CO2 that's emitted from the concrete industry as a country, it would be the third largest CO2 emitter behind China and the US. That's how
Wow.
much. Now, hempcrete is completely carbon negative.
Interesting. And this is, and you're essentially saying concrete with hemp, right?
Yep.
That's what hempcrete is. Okay, cool. Just clarifying.
Yeah, it's hemp, water, and lime. So it's all natural ingredients. Lime is found in the earth. We use it to
Yeah.
balance the pH of our soil and everything. So it's like people use these acid chemicals and all this stuff, and I'm like, why? There's like natural things. There's sulfur, if your pH is too high, brings it down, and lime, if your pH is too low, brings it up. So it's just like natural compounds. And that's what the regenerative farming part of this is. But so yeah, with growing hemp and keeping the trees, like
Hmm.
part two of I'll get into that in a second. So and keeping the trees because that's an important part of the carbon sequestering because we don't need to knock down the whole acre. We just need a quarter of it for the same amount of wood, right? So
Yeah.
for the purposes of that. So version 1 of my token was launched in August, and it was initially launched as a way to fund the 1 acre that I'm growing on currently
Okay.
and get people involved because I know I can't do everything myself. I know that's kind of impossible. I'm only one man. So the more people that I can get thinking about this and on board with it, it just makes it easier for it to grow the way I want it to. It quickly turned from funding for the next couple years to holy shit, looking at the numbers, what if we bought 150 to 200 acres? And like at first it seemed crazy, and then like a few other like I think there's 3 or 4 other people in the V fam that are buying land in the same area that I am or that I want to. So like we can all come together and buy it together, sublet it the pieces that we need. Um and everything came together because of V1. So version 2 turned into I want to give my token holders land access, real life land access. And like I'm really thinking about doing something wild here, William. I am thinking about like my version 1 rare holders, my rare tokens are sold out. I only put 10 of them out. I'm really thinking about and don't this isn't a promise, but this is just one of the thoughts that I have. I'm really
Yeah, all
thinking
good.
about like giving them a whole fucking acre. Like the 10, like sectioning out 10 acres and just here, guys, thanks for supporting. Like you believed in me more than anybody. Here you go. You spent a quarter ETH to buy a token from me, and I was literally nobody. Like I'm just a regular guy that knows a lot about hemp. Like, thank you. So I'm really trying to make that work and maybe no promises, but I'm working on it. At least we're trying. When is this gonna air?
I'm gonna put it on the next couple days. So
Okay,
like
so
the
never mind.
yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about that idea yet, but I after we get off, remind me of what my VeeFriends idea is,
Okay.
because I'll tell you off this. But it's really like when one of the other V fam brought it up, I was like, oh my god, like I really literally felt like there was a light bulb that came above my head. I was like, that's the tie to everything. So it's really exciting. So yeah, and my this is the problem with my project. I haven't figured out like the 60-second, like it's so much that I can't like compact it into something small yet. And I haven't figured out the good sales pitch for
Fair
it.
enough. Yeah, that's part of it, right? You got to figure out and iterate, and it sounds like still figuring out some of the things. So how many? So you had 10 rare tokens. How many total were in the? Was it just those 10, or did you do more than that?
There was 100 total in V1, so there was 90 cores and then 10 rares. And the 10 rares, their utilities, they got 50% off CBD for my CBD company for life. As long as you hold that token, you get 50% off. They got one-on-one time with me, 1 hour every month to talk about, if they have a business, they could talk about their business stuff. If they want to learn about hemp and cannabis stuff, come to me. If they want to learn how to grow their own, like if they smoke and everything, anything, if they want to just talk and be friends, like cool, I'll be your friend for an hour a month, probably more than that because I talk to people more than that. But and then it also had full access to my Grow Journal, which my Grow
Okay.
Journal is like where I keep not only like my thoughts and why I feel like something is happening, but then it's backed up by the data that gets put into it. And I'm very thorough with my details. So somebody could literally follow that for a year and start their own business.
That's cool.
And my
That's really
hope is that
awesome.
if somebody does that, they just partner with me so that way we can work on this carbon mission together and like help heal the earth and everything. And like I don't mean partner as in like I want money, but just like our create like a network, of like things everywhere. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. I like where did you get the idea to add all this utility? Because I'm really like it's cool. Was it like seeing what Gary did other projects? Like what led you to like put all this together? Because I love it. It's just I think it's pretty unique from what I've seen that's out there.
Well, the first thing was like I I I have a lot of good content that's going to be coming out, and I really wanted to build a community. So I was gonna just create a Discord and just like do it that way, but I was like, what if? Like the thought just one night, I was just like, what if? Like, wait, so NFTs are like crowdfunding, right? Like, what if I just openly tell people, like, hey guys, I didn't even think we'd be growing this year. We got our license in time. We don't have the funding after, business fallout with my partner, and I just have no money. Like, so if you believe in my vision, here you go. I'm gonna give you these dope utilities back because this is what I have to offer. Like I have a CBD company, so I leveraged my CBD company in order to, give people benefits.
Yeah.
And I have uh let's see, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. This will be my seventh year next year of growing cannabis. And I'm the head of I'm a son of a head grower too. So like I've been around plants my whole entire life. So when people come to me like about building a garden or anything like that, like I just feel like I have good expertise on it. But I also like this, like I could talk like this to pretty much anybody. Like I like people. I have a
Yeah.
it's yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, I love that. And I was gonna ask where you got all this knowledge from, but if you hit it already, right? Like head grower and being around the
Yeah.
industry because you've got like I you know way more about this stuff than I do and didn't even realize a lot of this stuff. So I'm loving this because I'm just learning this whole time. So
Yeah,
I
that's what I mean by the content that's going to come out. Like, I really, in 2022, I want to focus in on the educational side, but I want to, as you could see, my brain is kind of everywhere. But if I was to be like, okay, I want to teach people about just the carbon impact of growing hemp. Now I want to, and then like a separate video, the carbon impact of like the textiles of hemp. And then you know what I mean? So I can break it up and then I can make bullet points and really just rant on that. Like I don't need a whole script. I just need a few bullet points to stay on point type of thing so my stoner brain doesn't go wild. So I'm really focusing on that 2022. I'm really focusing on building my community in 2022. I'm really focusing on selling out the rest of those tokens. So that way, we have funding for next year. We have some funding to travel because we're going to be buying land and everything. And then we have funding to buy, hopefully, a little tractor, which is going to help to um, maximize our efficiency and not have to hire teams yet because we don't have the money yet to hire teams. We do obviously want to hire people, but in the
yeah
beginning, you get a tractor and you work your ass off.
yeah one step at a time, right? Yeah, you got to do the work yourself first.
Exactly. You literally have to be in the dirt. I am
yeah
literally in the dirt right now.
yeah, I love that, Adam. So so you said you connected with other VeeFriends holders on like the other like talk to me about like how you've been able to do that because I mean that's part of the reason why I've got this because I want to talk to people like you and other holders and all that stuff but like it sounds like you've been able to make some real meaningful connections.
Well, when I won that go and everybody went nuts, like my life is like I don't know. I've never really had too many people that like when something really good happens, they're just like, "Oh my fucking god!" Like I can't believe, just like the same energy as me. Like it's usually just me super excited, and everybody's like, "Good job!" Like they don't fully understand it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like most of my accomplishments have been over the past few years. Like they're just not surface level achievements. You know what I mean? Like I hit affiliate on Twitch today. Like that's not to regular people. They're like, what the fuck does that mean? But like people that like try to stream and try to stay consistent with it, they know how much work that is and keeping an audience and now building to get to partner. Like it doesn't stop there. So it was when I won that go, I immediately hopped into a clubhouse. I met Nicole and Sal and Sarah, Corey, who's one of the V friends that I'm talking to about buying land with. Um, and uh, who else did I meet? A couple more people. I think Peg was up there too. And then Gary came in and he talked to Nicole and Sal for like 7 or 8 minutes. And then he just quickly was like, "Hey Adam, how's that tattoo coming along?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm working on. I just text my tattoo artist now. I can't wait. I haven't gotten a tattoo in a long time, so it's like a double win for me. I get a tattoo and a V friend." And I mean, side note, listening back to that, I was way too nonchalant. Like I wish I could have like stopped myself and breathed for a second because at that point it was like I won, my phone glitched. I see all these messages. I'm literally like if my heart rate must have been like 150, 160, like I had to go outside. I like smoked a little bit, still wasn't calm, and then I hop into this clubhouse and there's people with air horns and like just hyping me up and I'm just like, oh, so when Gary came in there, like I'm getting more nervous, and then I'm like, please don't talk to me. Please don't like this isn't I'm not myself right now. I'm literally not myself. And like I wish I would have just said, "Oh my God, thank you." Like just thank you. Like just simply thank you. But I was welcomed in with such open arms, and at that point I had some downtime. You know, my business was kind of where it was at. I wasn't farming at the time, so I had a bunch of time, and I just was in Clubhouse a lot and connecting with a bunch of people when Clubhouse was super popping. And yeah, it just one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden you have 10 people who are in the VeeFriends community who own 10 rare tokens. And I think like three of the rare token holders also have a core because I've kind of hinted at, you know, owning both will get you something in the future too. Um, and it's just been cool. So I think we have like 20 holders and I'm blown away by that. I'm not an artist. Droshik, I'm sure you know who Droshik is. He's who did my art. He's an amazing artist. um Version 2 art is gonna definitely be a collaboration of people, and I'm trying to do like a unique profile picture type style thing that doesn't just
Okay.
look like a copycat of Bored Apes and Crypto Punks and everything, so
And everything else, yeah.
and everything
They're all
else, yeah.
derivatives now.
So I fortunately don't see a lot of cannabis stuff out there, so you know, even though my art is not it's not the most intricate. If you look at NFT art, you know, NFT art is ridiculous, but it's beautiful art. I love it so much. And, you know, I was appreciative in that he did that with me. But yeah, so version one rolled around in August, and by then I had already been building with people June, July, 3 months. And when it hit then, that was when it was like we became like family. You know, like when these people them putting a quarter ETH into my project is like more than 99% of the people in my life have ever done for me. You know, like
Yeah.
my mom and dad in the past 12 years haven't done that much for me. I feel like, you know, like I don't have that kind of relationship with them. I basically like raised myself, you know. So it's for people to really believe in me and purchase my I like literally I remember when I first sold like I think it hit like an ETH quick. Like it was like, oh my God, I have funding for this year. And I remember just sitting here like crying, like, oh my God, these people really like believe in this. Like I'm not crazy. like I've been sitting here researching all this carbon stuff and like that was the other thing. I was in these clubhouse rooms, they're picking my brain, like, what do you do, Adam? And I'm like, well, it's kind of complicated. And like, we'll talk about it. And they're like, huh. And they ask questions and it makes me go, I actually don't know that. Write it down and then I research it and then I come back and I'm like, oh, well, I learned this. And it just was like digging a rabbit hole. It was like more than a rabbit hole at this point. It's like an asteroid impact hole, you know, like it's just giant at this point. And it became like my whole life purpose. It went from funding for a couple years to literally planning 10 to 25 years out on the project,
That's
and
awesome.
a lot of that because of VFam. And I can honestly say that if VeeFriends didn't happen, I know without a shadow of a doubt this would not have happened.
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, I think that right there is like I don't really know what to say to that because that's it's cool. I mean, like you can meet these people and really have a connection, like you said, like folks, strangers, essentially that you just met are willing to invest in you, invest in your vision, and really change the trajectory of where you're headed. And
Mhm.
that's powerful.
It
That's
really
powerful.
is. Yeah, it's just starting. Like
It is. It is just starting. Like we're not even like we're barely like what 6 7 months into this thing. It's so
this is
crazy.
we're at like, are you into video games at all?
Yeah.
So we're at like the Pong of video games right now in
Yeah.
NFT land. You know, like there's gonna be a virtual reality game that legitimately looks and feels like you're on a fucking roller coaster. But we started with Pong, and we were in and from what I hear, like I was, I was a little bit younger than that generation. Fortunately, I grew up with like Nintendo, but I still played Pong. But the people back then were in amazement that they could just move this little thing on the screen.
Yeah.
And that's how NFTs are. It's like we create these avatars. We're like, look, I can move the hands. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden we have a full 3D model of ourselves running around a fucking metaverse. And it's like, that's where it's going. And people
Yeah.
have to just be patient because that change from Pong to where we are now was really only 40 years.
Yeah.
That's a short fucking time.
It is. Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, it's early. It's still really early in this whole NFT space, NFT land. What are you like speaking of the future, like what are you excited about for VeeFriends and VCon, like all that like what are you excited about?
I'm so jazzed up about VCon. The literal only bad thing about VCon is that I'm flying out solo, so my daughter and my girl aren't coming. That's the only thing that I'm bummed about. Like I've never been away from my daughter for that long, but a lot of people in the community say like that'll be good for both of us because we've like never really been apart. Like it'll be sad. Like during the day, it's gonna be jam packed, meeting a bunch of VeeFriends, doing a bunch of activities, and then I'm gonna get to the hotel and just it's gonna hit me. I'm gonna be like anxietied out, like, and I'm 2 hours behind, so she goes to bed at like 5:30 at their time there. So, you know, it's just all the little things that I'm overthinking about that I always do. But I'm 99.99999% excited for it. and and that excitement is on a level 1 million because I've gone to a lot of conventions because of being in the cannabis community. But I don't think anybody's ever been to anything like this. Like I'm just getting those kind of vibes,
I
and
know.
not even just the convention, dude. Just like I'm flying in the 18th, so like the 19th is a non-convention day, and I plan on just like, I don't know, fucking meeting everybody. Like I'm just gonna go ham, and I don't know, that day is gonna be fun, and the convention will be even more fun. So I'm obviously excited for VCon. Everybody is. I'm excited for the book games NFTs coming out. I'm having issues. I had to put in a troubleshoot form, but I'd trust that they'll
Ah,
fix it.
yikes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, of
that's
course. Like it's because of it's my own fault. I bought one because I was like, ugh, I probably shouldn't spend 300. I should probably shouldn't spend a lot of money on books. I'll buy one so I'm at least supporting Gary. And I hadn't heard the full details of it. So then I hopped in a clubhouse and I heard them talking about the details. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. So what's the deal? And they're like, you have to buy 12 and you get the NFT, and they're talking about it, leading into version 2 and being. I'm like, oh fuck. So I went and I bought 11. And in retrospect, what I should have done is bought 12 and then just return the one with one to keep it easier. But I think because it's two separate orders, it's just having an issue, and they'll get to it and fix it.
it just
Um,
mess it up. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm excited for version 2. Hopefully, I'll be able to buy into that, and then maybe even win one eventually too.
Yeah.
And then next year NFTs, I'm excited to see um what I can do with my music NFT project that I'm working on, because I've made music since 2003,
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm
What type of
releasing
music?
hip hop. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm releasing an EP. It's like 5 maybe 6 songs. I'm undecided on the 6th song yet. Um, and I really want to do something different for it. Like my idea originally was to like create a 3D render of myself and then create like music videos with like essentially a metaverse. But I don't think that's going to be able to happen in the next 5 months, like when I want to release it. So I'll work on it for the next one. So I'm trying to figure out now what I want to do now that that idea is not going to happen if I'm being realistic.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. Version 2 of the project is more than likely going to launch this year as well. I'm really trying to get some land quick.
Okay.
Like it'll probably be bought before version 2 is put out and all the like funding is there. So it's going to be very scary. But I trust the VFam, I trust the universe, and I just feel like this is the right move. So I'm very excited for that. I think if I was to guess, that would probably be in July, if I
Okay.
had to guess, if everything goes right. But I'm not
Okay.
rushing it on this part because it's very important. The other part of the carbon thing, I actually should have mentioned this. We're part of a contest for Elon Musk, and the winner gets $50 million. And it's the contest is simply who can sequester the most carbon and keep it there the longest.
That's
And
awesome.
it's kind of simple, like it's simply put that way, but you have to do it, so you have to prove it in theory, then you have to write a thesis of it at scale, and then do a small scale scaled version of your thesis on it on the final year. And if it doesn't pass what you theorized, you won't win. So it's like under heavy scrutiny. And I've never done anything like this in my life. Like I'm 11 pages into this fucking proposal thing, and I'm thinking it's going to be 40, 50 pages by the time we're done with it. And it's just all
That's
things like,
cool.
we want to buy this land and say we have 100 acres to grow on. I want to keep 65 to 70 acres of it trees, so that way I can say this is part of my data. If I was just hemp farming, I would have cut all this down. But
Hmm.
my goal isn't just to sequester carbon, it's to also build healthy soil and build healthy environments and bring the earth back to what it's supposed to be. So it's
Yeah.
like as little impact as possible. So I would have 30 to 35 acres of hemp, and then, probably another 5 to 10 acres of shared land with VeeFriends and everything. So it's
That's awesome.
ridiculous.
When is the contest? Like when is the final stuff due for Musk?
So this is the end of year one. I'm waiting for my data on my soil back from Cornell, because Cornell University is working with us to do all of our soil sampling and create a prototype. Because like they don't even have like a this is the way you need to test, because it's so new and everything. So like we are literally helping to pioneer this stuff, which is really humbling. So this is year one. It's a 4-year contest. So we won't find out about winners until 2025.
Okay.
So here's the thing. If we get data and if we place in the top 15 with our data from year one, we'll get $1 million injected into our business. So, and the rare token holders all get 1% of that.
That's awesome.
So, like I'm always
Yeah.
just trying to hook up my people, and like even if we don't win, like at least the thoughts there, like I will 100% give this to you if we win this. And that's the way it's going to be. And I'm really again thinking about doing something crazy for V2 and V1 holders for like the Elon contest. Like say we win $50 million, and we have 10 people that have like the ultra rare combo that it unlocks, like I don't know, $500,000 or some shit like that, just for the hell of it, because why not?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's awesome. And I like how it's tiered out, right? So year one, it sounds like the top projects get a little extra kick in the a little incentive, right? Because that's a long time.
My hope is
If
that everybody slacked and didn't really grow this year and didn't get data, and then we could kind of just sail into there, because like we didn't get the best data this year. We started growing too late by the time we had funding and everything. But next year, uh, I'm not a betting man, but I'd put money we're gonna have a ridiculous looking crop next year, like an acre of 8 to 10 foot tall cannabis plants, just insanity. because I planted 25,000 seeds, 25 to 30,000 seeds, and probably 200 came up because we planted so late in the season. So again, I'm new to scaling this up.
Yeah.
So I talked to farmers that have done it, and I'm like, "Hey, what happened?" And they're like, I'm like, "Can seeds just go dormant because I planted too late?" And they said, "Absolutely. They go dormant because they realize they're not going to like have a full growing season, and they just wait till the next season. And you might, if there's 25,000, 15,000 might pop up the next year, but they're not all gone." And I was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God." I was like, "Wait, so does that mean I'm going to come to my farm next year and I could potentially just have a shitload of plants already growing without me doing work?" And they're like, "Yep." Like,
That would be
words.
nice, huh?
So I'm not gonna bank on that. Like, I have a plan if that doesn't happen, but if that does happen, oh my God, I'll be so happy. Um, because it's the first season I've got on my land that I'm doing on time. Like, I started in end of July my first year because it was emergency, ran out of funding, started in August last year. This year we already have part of the funding for next year. So like we're already getting started. We already have our license for next year. Like everything is just all good, and
That's
it's
awesome.
only getting better. And I don't know. I can't even look past like 2022 besides like my NFT project, which is the weird part to my life. Like I have no clue where my life will be in 5 to 10 years, but I'm pretty sure I know where my NFT project will be.
Yeah, that's funny, right? Yeah, you get a clearer vision for that than everything else, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, that's cool. That's awesome, Adam. And what's the name of it? Or out and like definitely send me a link afterwards. I'll put it in the show notes so people that want to go check it out on OpenSea can can go check it out.
Yeah, so if they go to terrapothecary.io, I'll spell it out in the chat just so you have it for later.
Cool.
Terrapothecary.io. I have to update the website on the V2 stuff because originally this is what's kind of cool is everybody that's gotten into the project is seeing it grow real time. So initially my next drop was going to be the forbearing farmer. So it's kind of VeeFriends inspired. It was inspired from a conversation where I said that farmers are the real patient pandas, and Droshik sent me a farmer meme. It was like he drew like a penguin with overalls that were green, and then my face plastered on it, and it said "Let's fucking grow." And I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. So I was like, okay, what if I make 1,111 tokens of the forbearing farmer with 5 different rarities? And I had a whole breakdown of how I would do it, what it would be used for. And then I was like, hmm, I'm thinking too small. And that's when like the land ownership shit started happening. And yeah,
That's
I,
awesome.
I still get blown away like just talking about this.
Yeah, it's crazy like how things develop and grow, and it's I mean it's cool to see that you've been able to like go and execute and like or actually not just dropped a project but have utility and been able to use the funds and like are now developing a version 2 and like you did it in steps, right? Which I think is awesome.
That's the other thing too. My rare token holders, I have a whole ledger of every penny I've ever spent. So like it's the money that they're putting into the project, they know exactly what it's being spent on.
That's cool. That's cool. I love that, Adam. I love that. So, man, I'm excited to connect in person and at VCon. Like, this is like it's cool getting to meet fellow V friends holders.
Hell yeah, I'm hoping to smoke with a lot of people. And I have
Definitely.
I have these things that are going to be really handy. I can't find them right now, but they're called clicks, and it's like I don't know if you're a smoker at all, like cannabis. But the joint like goes into this thing and it has a magnet on it, and then there's a mouthpiece that also has a magnet. So you just disconnect that, and you all have your own mouthpiece, so you can still
Oh,
share
nice.
and not
Kind of
have
reminds
to
me of like the hookah. Like, yeah, that's cool.
exactly. It's I guarantee whoever invented that has been to a lot of hookah lounges.
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, this
Nice.
has been really awesome. I can't wait to see this out, and I'll definitely share it everywhere. And yeah, I'm excited to meet you in person, man. A few more months. What do we got?
Yeah, I
Roughly
am too.
5 months.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited. And where can if they're looking for you on Twitter or Discord, what's your handle? Can you repeat it again?
Yeah, my handle everywhere is what did Adam say. If you're looking for me on Discord, it's what did Adam say hashtag 3702. Um, I never knew that you could change that.
Oh, you can? I didn't
Yeah,
know that
apparently
either.
you can change that. I just memorized the number that it came with. I just was like, fuck it. It's like people had like 6969, and I was like, dude, how did you get that number? That's epic. They're like, I changed it. I'm like, oh.
Not didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool,
Such a noob.
man. Yeah. Hey, I'm still trying to figure out the Discord thing too. So it's a learning process. All this stuff is new for a lot of us. So
Yeah. Building one is another thing, dude. It's fucking crazy.
yeah, I'm working on one right now too. So I founded a fintech company called Ostrich, and we've got one where we're going to be launching a project that's the early bird ostriches, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff with that. Have some different rarity and access that we're going to be doing. But TBD on the exact details. We've got most of it mapped out, but we're working with an artist now, and figuring out exactly how we want to roll it out so that it's a fair launch. We can support the people that have been supporting us first and foremost, and then give people that are excited about like personal finance and financial wellness an opportunity to get into. So
Mm, I like it. Definitely send me details when you get more, and yeah, see what I can do about getting in.
absolutely, I'll definitely send you details. Who's pumped for VCon? Smash that like and subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you are a fellow VeeFriends holder, I'd love to have you on the show. Shoot me an email, VeeFriendsFam@gmail.com, and we'll get something on the calendar. I'm William Glass, your host and holder of an organized ostrich core. I'm wishing you nothing but the happiness, and I cannot wait to meet you in person at VCon.